up on the Todd Ortloff Show today? We have Mae Graves with us. Hello, Mae.
Well, hello, Amanda. A nice little change of pace here.
Once in a while, we like to change things up around here. And we're going to be talking about the market, about the housing market. Interesting topic. Always changing, it seems like. So, Mae, give us this update. We like to check in with you once a month and see what's going on. Give us a little 411 today on what's going on in our area.
Sounds good. I'll cover numbers for both Port Angeles and Sequim. What we're seeing, it's kind of interesting. I've been telling Todd it's sort of like a roller coaster. You know, one month we were like, oh, we're gaining, and then next month, oh, it seems like numbers are a bit down. I really think it's all kind of balancing out right now. So we've been seeing a market that's been trending up for about 12 years straight, which has been incredible, right? It seems like real estate markets go in like 7-year cycles, we hear often, but for 12 years straight, we've been trending up. So currently, it feels like it's pretty flat. From 2023 to 2024, we gained less than 2% increase. So like 1.7% gain was all. During the pandemic, those crazy unicorn years, we called it, where house prices, like you'd see a house list and it's sold the same day, over asking, all of that. We were gaining a 1.5% per month for 18 months straight. So to see a whole year just go up one less than 2% was like, wow, maybe we're going to take a turn. Maybe we're going to flatten out. So we just keep tracking the data to see where we're at. And it kind of holds true. What I'm seeing currently is it's kind of holding true. So let me go over numbers for you. So for Port Angeles, for May of 2025, we sold 38 homes. Let's look back at the last year. Last year was 36, so about the same. Days on market, just 6 days on market. That seems like flying off the shelf, right? 6 days?
Yeah,
that's nothing.
Incredible.
Last year was 26, so it's like, okay, so we're selling about the same amount of homes, but much quicker. Median home price this year, $425. Last year was $451. So it seems like things are sliding a bit there. Price per square foot, $306. That includes the land as well. So it's not a great indicator, but $310 last year, $306 this year. So kind of just hanging right in there. Homes is sold for full price or more. So I say at or over asking. 21 of the 38 homes sold for at or over asking. That's like a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then last year was 24 of the 36, so even more. And we're seeing 98% of full price on average. So the most of the homes you can usually get 2% off, 3% off if you're a buyer. If you're a seller, you should just kind of chalk it up as that's pretty normal. 4% is about the average, it seems like, year over year. Right now, it's about 2%. Cash sales. So of the 38 homes in Port Angeles that sold for May, 14 of them were to cash buyers.
Holy cow.
Isn't that a lot? I know it. And that's with a median home price of $425,000. So
who are these people?
Well, yeah, right? I don't have that data, but it kind of makes you wonder. You know, I used to say it's kind of like half-price homes here. So if we have a lot of people from King County that come over, they retire, they want out of the city, they want closer to the national parks, the water. I don't know who those cash buyers are. We'd have to pull the data. I don't know where that's at. Let me go over Sequim. So Sequim, we sold 47 homes for May of 2025. Last year, 48, so hanging right in there. Same thing though, median days on market 9, Sequim was 6, so again, just flying off the shelf. Median home price in Sequim, $599. And remember, Port Angeles was just $425.
Yeah,
so it shows you,
crazy.
Right? $599, the average home or the median home price. Price per square foot, $335. Last year, only $297. Over asking. So over asking this year, 24 of those 47 homes were at or over asking price. So like half of the homes are selling for full price or more, right? So there's a lot of doom and gloom in the headlines when you watch the news. And I'm not saying that this is a full picture of the market. It's a snapshot. And overall, we'll talk a little bit more about luxury market in a moment. And then percent of asking, same, 98%. So most buyers are getting about 2% off, but then, a lot are paying at or over asking. 21 of the 47 homes that sold were cash buyers again in Sequim.
So again, about half.
Yep, just about, right? And last year there were 47 homes that sold and 17 of them. So that fewer were cash last year than this year. But what happens when the interest rates go up, people have their money in investments or whatever, they pull that money out because they're like, hey, I'm not making much on that. I don't want to get a loan. I'll just pull my investment, buy a house with it. So we're seeing that.
I would love to have that conversation with myself
right.
one day.
a great problem to have.
I mean, it's fine.
Right? I just pull some cash and pay $500,000 for a house. Why not?
No sweat. So talk to me about the luxury market and what that means.
Okay, so back during the pandemic, when people nationwide talked about the luxury market, they always meant like $1 million or more. We didn't have those houses. Like, it was rare to see a house that was $1 million. You could buy homes on, let's say, Bell Hill and Sequim, huge water views, huge homes for about $500,000, right? I wish we'd have bought all of those, actually.
I do too.
Because now the median home price on Bell Hill is about 1.1, right? So the luxury market, though, and this is just, I guess, what do you say, anecdotal? I'm not sure about this, but what I think is kind of that median home price, that bread and butter, those are the working class, those are the people that have to have a home. And we talk about, we kind of talk about the reasons that when people say, when they're selling, they say, we're not in a hurry. Nobody's really in a hurry except for the people who have diamonds. They're getting married and they're merging two houses into one. Diplomas, somebody's graduating and moving out of the house, they're downsizing. Diapers, they had a baby, they need a bigger house. Divorce, maybe they need two homes now. And sometimes disaster or death will cause it. But for the most part, other than those, nobody's in a hurry. Yeah. So I think that median home price, those are the people that fall into a lot of those categories where they're upsizing, downsizing, deployment, maybe military move, where they have to buy, but the luxury market, maybe they don't have to buy, so they can sit, kind of wait for rates to come down, wait for prices to come down. So we are seeing the inventory in the luxury market sit a little more. Like, I was using Bell Hill for an example. We usually sell about 2.5 homes per month on Bell Hill. In the last 12 months, we've only sold 12 homes on Bell Hill. So that's only one a month in the last 12 months.
I could maybe afford one of the quarters of that extra half that you're selling.
The guest house.
Yeah.
The guest house.
The lawn.
I'll see if I can hook you up.
It's a little investment for my future.
Right?
So tell us what that means for people who are working here and maybe trying to buy a home for the first time. They're starting a family. They're in a small home renting and they want to buy. They don't need to buy a huge home, but they want to buy a home to start a family. What does that mean for them?
It's tricky in our area for sure. Well, like Port Angeles, I was telling you, the median home price is 4.25. So rates are the highest they've been in like 25 years, and it's still not high when you look, like for decades back. If you go back decades back, that's not that high. When I bought my first home, I think my interest rate was 12%, and I remember them talking about adjustable rate mortgages, and I was like, no, I'm not sure I want to do that. We didn't know anything, you're a first-time home buyer. But that was 12%, and that was in like 1991. I know, you all thought I was 29 still. I did have cataract surgery, but I was a prodigy.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so first-time home buyers, it is tricky, but then rents are astronomical, right? So if you have a way to, I usually say, step one, find a realtor that can recommend a great lender for you. Do your pre-qualification. Find out if there's a program where they can get some assistance maybe with their down payment, or they'll give them a path to say, hey, if you save this much, we can get you into this program. And then they're able to buy, because a lot of times, not a lot of times, all of the time, if you're renting, 100% of your payment is going towards the seller, towards the homeowner's equity, not your equity, right? Yeah, so even if you can just start small and be faithful in the little things, use it as a stepping stone, get some equity when you sell that one, buy another.
Yeah, I often think about my little bungalow that I bought, and it says that it's already got so much equity in it because the prices have come up a little bit.
Yeah.
The other side of that is I don't want to sell it because I love my little home. So
exactly,
it's an incredible investment if you are so lucky to get to do that. It was but by the grace of God that I got my place, and it's incredible, and I think home ownership is one of those things that everyone should have a chance to work towards that.
Yeah, and if you can keep it, I mean, you'll probably never hear another realtor say this, but I say don't sell your homes, just buy a bunch. I mean, not everybody, but there's enough people who have to sell. They can't afford to keep them all. And a lot of them don't want to be landlords. They don't want to be dealing with rent checks or toilets or water heaters leaking. I mean, I don't really want to, but it's
Absolutely not. I don't even want to deal with my own toilet leaking.
Right? Call somebody else.
Yeah. So, Mae, how can people get in touch with you if they have questions about what we heard today, about what you talked about, or just any general real estate questions?
Right. You know, I always say I'm old school. Just call me, or if you're into texting, text me. So grab your pencil. And Todd always says, you can call the station. We got the number here. Small town.
Yeah.
So really just call or text me, 360-461-1922. Mae Graves.
I love it. Mae, I've known you for a long time. I just love watching you work and do your thing, and you really are just a beautiful human being, truly, inside and out. And I've always appreciated your friendship, but also I appreciate you coming on and telling people what we need to know about our area. Yeah,
just so you have an idea, because a lot of, the number one question I get asked is, how's the market? Mm-hmm. And sometimes people just ask because they don't know what else to ask. They're like, she's a realtor, just ask her about the market. But sometimes they really need to know. They're like, my parents passed away. We need to get a house on the market. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It is my pleasure. I will see if I can kick Todd out of the studio next month when you're back. All right, stick around.